Welcome to The Floss, the self-help show for people that probably don't need it. You can follow the show on Instagram at The Floss Pod, or you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/theflosspod. If there's something you do that you think everybody should do, or something you do that you don't think anybody should do, email it to us at theflosspod@gmail.com. We might discuss it. Welcome to The Floss. This is part 2 of Brian Kenny's feature episode. In part 1, we talked about why you should be yourself during halftime. We talked about, pedophilia, CVS.
All the hot topics of today in February 2022 or March 2022.
We also did get some Cleveland sports talk in there. Brian is a host of a Cleveland sports talk podcast, specifically Browns, right?
Nope, all of
Cleveland sports.
I probably go on far more about the Indians and the Guardians now than anybody wants to hear.
But. Yeah. So, but if you're listening to this episode, then all of these issues. We talked about Baker's shoulder, but at this point, we already know the Browns won the Super Bowl, so it's like not even a problem. All right, Brian, this is part 2 of your episode. Part 1, we talked about what people should do, but now, what is something you do that you don't think anybody should do?
I think I'm myself to a fault.
To a fault?
I think that.
What are some of these faults?
We talked about it a little bit in sales. I think I could certainly be now making more money and have in the past made more money if I would just kind of dial it back a bit and do what my coworkers are doing. Not to say that they're necessarily bad people, but they have a job to do, and they're.
Do you guys have a leaderboard?
Yes.
Where are you on the leaderboard?
Right in the middle, maybe a little bit closer to the top.
Leaderboard's not bad. You strapped for cash, Brian?
No, I'm doing okay.
So why do you need any more money?
Everybody could always use more money. I'm trying to buy a house.
Money's sick. Always want more money. Where are you gonna live?
We're still waiting on getting pre-approval because we need Uncle Sam to give Sarah, my wife, her income-based repayment numbers. That's like the only thing holding us back.
I don't know. What the fuck is it? Income-based repayment numbers? Is that taxes? What is that?
Do you not have student loans? Are you just paying full boat each month?
Oh, I did get that email. That email just came in recently, right?
Well, at the end of January, everybody's got to start paying again, and interest is back. So what you do is, my loans are astronomical.
I'm sure.
Enormous from grad school.
What'd you go to grad school for?
MBA. But that plays itself into this. I probably should have went and pursued MBA type of careers far more than I did, but it just didn't feel like me.
I feel like the MBA is something that I don't feel like it's invaluable in the Midwest because our companies are still pretty traditional, and like the MBA kind of, when you get to the point in your career where you're actually like managing stuff, like it can directly translate to X amount more dollars. Like that's just the way like it is, which sucks. But like out west, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you have an MBA. They want your real world experience, which you just know.
Which they want here as well. Everywhere does. So like I panicked my way into an MBA because I graduated in 2010 when there's a gigantic recession happening. And I was about to go out into the world with zero plan. And a buddy of mine was like, dude, the government's giving me money to go to grad school. You should do the same. And then I went and talked to somebody at my college, like, what do you think of this idea? They're like, that's an amazing idea. You should totally do that.
You should watch my short film that we just finished.
Oh, yeah? Is it about MBAs?
It's about a kid on the eve of his last semester of grad school. He runs into his old friends. And it's like a whole, like, dude, you shouldn't have even fucking gone to grad school kind of thing.
I really wish I hadn't gone to grad school.
What would you have done?
Gotten a bullshit job and continued to do comedy.
Yeah. How long were you in grad school? 2 years?
Yeah, about 2.5. I stretched it out as long as I could.
So you were done when you were like 25?
It was 2012, 24.
24. And then did you immediately start doing comedy?
I had done comedy like a small handful of times throughout grad school, but like I didn't necessarily know how it worked. Mm-hmm. So I'd like get booked on something months out and then just like live for that. Like the idea of going and doing a set at Bella W was huge. Yeah. And then afterwards, I started actually meeting comics, because that's one of the bigger things that I'm kind of referring to with this being a downfall is, especially in comedy, I'm not good at kissing ass. I'm not good at asking things from people. I'm bad at networking.
I'm over, and this is weird to say, and this will come back, and I'm very young in my career. I'm kind of over the kissing ass.
It's not going anywhere, bud.
I know, but I'm I have so many things going on the side, still comedy related, like the podcast, short films, the script writing, stuff like that, where, and I know it's not a meritocracy, but like I'm getting to the point where like my work is going to speak for itself. Nobody who books shows goes out. Well, some people do, but like more often than not, they're getting asked by people if they could be on the show, and I'm not asking people if I can be on their show.
I've never really asked anybody. Just about everything that's ever come to me has been offered. I'm very bad at asking things from people, even hilarities. I got dragged there at first to do a guest set. Like Squire saw me at his album recording, and then he was like, "We're going to put you on the Alan Cox comedy tour." And then like Mike Farrell and Jason Lawhead, they saw me there. They went and talked to Sam and Nick about me. And then Squire, next time he featured or headlined, got me a guest set. And then from there, just kept going.
You didn't kiss ass.
No.
You did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And one person saw you do a good job. That's all you need, man.
Yeah, but I've done very well in the shows that I've been put on over the years. And even when I go out of town, I've done
because you're a good
very
comic.
Well. Yeah, but at the same time, other people that have been doing it the same amount of time as me, they're full-time doing it. I am not.
Sure.
I'm sure that if I would have networked better, I would have gotten a lot more. If I would have kissed ass a little better, I'd have gotten a lot more. It would have been a path of less resistance for sure.
Well, do you want more?
Hell yeah.
Well, you know how to get it.
I'm not good at it. I don't like it. And this is why I'm saying this is a bad thing. That's why I'm sitting here telling you this right now. I think I could have been a full-time comedian within the past few years if I would have done better networking.
Is your goal to quit your day job?
Fuck yeah. Being a full-time comedian is absolutely the goal. Now, I've also had some health issues and some bills pile up. So being the starving artist without insurance or steady income has been difficult, but I think I could have made something work if I would have been better at networking, going to other cities, meeting other comics, getting vouched for.
Dude, it's the going to other cities is ridiculous.
You have to
do it.
You have to. And you got to go do guest sets at clubs and then hope that those 5 minutes, which is in no way my strength.
Sure.
I got most of my best bits are 7 minutes.
Killer.
So like I go out there and that's, I've certainly had comics tell me you should probably try and tighten shit. And it's like, well, I like it. So.
You like what you're having fun up there. You're very clearly having fun up there.
I have a good time.
Yeah, and when you're having fun, the audience is having fun. Now, why do you want to be a full-time stand-up comic?
I enjoy it a lot. I love doing it. I love doing the shows.
I'm going to keep asking why.
Feeling of, just dopamine rush of fucking killing. Just going up and killing is some vouchers till I fucking die.
That's every comic's favorite word. The dopamine. The dopamine hit. I don't relate to that. Every comic does it for the dopamine hit. I don't do it for the dopamine hit.
Then what are you doing it for?
I do it because I want in a very general life sense, I want to work. And that's the work that I want to do and that I'm good at. That's why I choose to do it.
But why is that the work you choose to do?
It's fun.
Why is it fun? Because you get a dopamine hit?
No, it's just it's just a good life. I like the life.
The life is fucking rough.
I don't care. It's
how much of the life have you experienced?
Not a lot, and I'll find out. I'm ready to find. I've been taking a lot of risks recently, and I'm going to be taking some risks in the future. I mean, every short film is a risk. Like you're either ready you have to tell yourself that you're ready. And you have to also be ready to find out that, maybe you weren't ready, which is just as valuable. But I would take knowing that I wasn't ready for something than never finding out at all.
Sure, of course. That's why you got on stage in the first place. I mean, why does anybody else actually... Because so many people think they can do comedy. So many people want to do comedy. It's a very common thing. But the people that actually take those steps are either A, a crazy person, which is super fucking common, or B, there's somebody who can't stand the idea of not at least seeing.
Yeah, that's me.
That's me too.
But like I just wanted to be a comic. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a firefighter. Okay. Not because of the dopamine or the adrenaline you get from fighting the fire, but because you want to be a firefighter. You get what I'm saying? Everybody that's doing their dream job gets dopamine from it.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person. That's why it's their dream job. That it's a feeding back cycle. But like if you want to be an archaeologist, and you grow up and you become an archaeologist, every time you do something awesome within your field, you're going to get a dopamine hit. But is that why you're doing it, or are you doing it because you want to do the work of an archaeologist? I want to do the work of a comic. I want to make people laugh.
But like
I'm providing a service. I'm a court. It's like being a court. I think court jesters did it for the dopamine hit.
I feel like court jesters did it because they were forced to do it. I don't think court jesters chose that path. I think that they were shitty people that got tossed it. Like, go entertain that guy or he'll kill you.
There was when they were going out to pick the court jester, there was one of them that was better at doing it than the others.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because he was doing it better than the others, he got favorited by the king, and he got to eat. We're all forced to work.
Yeah.
Just like those guys were forced to and then guess what? Only one got to be the court jester, and the other four had to go figure out what the fuck to do. So we're all forced to work. This is what I picked my job to be.
I don't understand that. I feel like you're just kind of dancing around what still is part of what you're talking about. At some point, with what you've decided to do and what you've decided to make your life out of, you have to experience success in order to continue to be driven by it, or you're a crazy person. If you've done nothing but experience...
Oh, sure. If I were a garbage comic and was not, then did a bad job every time I was up on stage, I would hopefully have the self-awareness to be like, maybe this isn't it. Maybe you should try something else.
But the feeling of killing and the feeling of success, saying it's the dopamine rush or the adrenaline rush of doing it is just dissecting it further.
Sure.
You're just taking a step back and looking at it on a higher level as opposed to the deeper level, which is if we chemically look at why this feels good,
sure,
it's just these two things. So if you don't dig in that far and you go,
sure,
well, this is just something I like doing, you probably like doing because why else do we do anything? Because chemicals tell us that we like it.
Hopefully it gets to the point where I don't like doing it. I'm kidding. Because that's nobody likes their job.
That's why I want to do this. Even why I want to do it full time is it's really hard to actually focus on like a desk job career when I know that there's something out there that I'm really good at that I really like doing.
Do you have an age where you're going to give up?
No, I'll be fucking Rodney Dangerfield going out there in my 40s, late 40s, still trying to do it. I don't care.
Does Sarah know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Sarah fully intends on at some point being our breadwinner as I try this.
Oh, fucking that's what's up.
Deeply and to the highest degree discussed and agreed upon. And she actually, if there's been times like during the pandemic, there were times where I'm like, I'm starting back at fucking square one, man. Like Hilarities is the only place that's remembering me. There's no other club in the country that I've worked, that's gonna remember me over these other places because I hadn't done the road all that much. Mm-hmm. There had been bookers that went under that I was doing pretty well for. Different sources of income dried up. The fucking lottery thing was a godsend.
Lottery thing?
I'm the face of Keno for the Ohio Lottery.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you swing that?
Kid I went to high school with works for the ad company that makes the commercials for the lottery. Hitchcock, Fleming and Associates out in Akron. And he sent me like the email of what they were looking for this character. I made a fucking audition tape of me doing karate in my parents' living room. I sent it in. They showed it to the lottery people. I was the clear choice. I've done 3 campaigns.
Video, picture, everything.
Fucking TV commercials, radio commercials,
Get
TV
the
commercials.
Fuck out of here. That's awesome.
You would know that if you watch TV, Gabe.
Dude, I've never seen them. That's
Old.
That's
Apparently,
old.
they're on Hulu.
I don't watch TV. See, you think I'm not shelling out for the Hulu without ads?
I'm not.
I don't even. I think I use someone else's Hulu account. I'm not even sure whose it is. I'm pretty sure it's not mine though.
But like, so that was super nice. But like, there were times during the pandemic because we shut down as hard as anybody in this country. We didn't even go to the grocery store. Everything was delivered. We'd go visit family. We'd sit on the other side of the room with masks on and nothing else.
Really?
She's immunocompromised. I wasn't
True.
taking any fucking chances. So until that vaccine rolled out, we did nothing. And there were times where I got reeled down, and she's like, "You're never quitting. Like, you will do this full time at some point." She's fully behind it.
It's a nice little modern love story.
I'm very, very in love with my wife.
Yeah. The feminine takeover of the masculine in this country is what's destroying it. You know that, Brian? she's the breadwinner. Would you chop your dick off at the wedding ceremony, Brian? This is the most disgusting thing I've ever fucking heard.
You sound like you love that new Kid Rock video that just came out. Did you see that fucking thing?
Kid Rock video.
There's a new Kid Rock video flicking off snowflakes and shit. It's so
Really?
funny. It's so funny.
I recently was watching the Creed halftime, the Creed Thanksgiving halftime performance from like
The Dallas
2004.
Cowboys one?
Yeah,
That shit's funny.
with the dudes with the ribbons
Yeah.
flying around.
Yeah.
Creed was my first concert.
Interesting. How old were you?
Oh man, maybe middle school.
My first concert, I was 19.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't even like I wanted to go. It was like I was at a Q104 event, and they were handing out.
I'm old.
Please go see Creed. Please. It will
They
be
were handing
very
out.
just.
It was at Blossom. All the lawn seats were free Q104 tickets.
That's hilarious.
Everyone was there for free. My uncle who used to own a body shop, he had like a party bus, and by party bus he found a bus, and like it still had like the graffiti on it left over from the scrapyard and shit, and like old gross couches. So like our family and our family friends piled into it, and we went to McDonald's and bought like 30 cheeseburgers and 30 McChickens back when they were only $1.
Oh,
Imagine
those were the days.
feeding 2 families for $60, unstoppable.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw the Creed concert. And then I don't know what my next concert was after that. It's probably out of college. I don't fucking know. But so, yeah, that was my first concert.
I saw Breaking Benjamin,
Nice.
Seether, and 3 Days Grace all together at my first concert.
3 Days Grace would have been a fucking banger. You hit a very good spot for the concert going age, like during that era of music, like mid 2000s, mid to late.
I guess. I mean, almost all the shows I've been to have been rock or heavy metal shows. Still, the 2 best concerts I've ever seen were like older bands.
Like what?
Iron fucking Maiden.
I bet.
Iron Maiden is number 1 and 2 on the best concerts I've ever seen.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see some old concerts, but now all those guys do like stadiums, which I don't really like stadium concerts. Actually, well, Jacob's Pavilion at Nautica does some really sick
I've seen some good ones there.
older rock concerts. I bartended there last summer. So
Trick is finding the bands where it's more than just 2 original members because everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
Like the Allman Brothers, you can't see the Allman Brothers now. You can't go see Skinner. It's all just piecemeal.
I don't mind a
random
cover band
hillbillies.
though. Like the Pink Floyd cover bands are fucking sick.
Yeah, but call yourself a cover band. Don't call yourself Leonard Skinner or the Allman Brothers.
Sure.
Right.
Well, you ever hear like are you big in like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and those inductions and whatnot?
Not really.
There are some really awesome videos. I can't think of the band's names off the top of my head. I think Guns N' Roses was one of them, where like bands that have broken up in the past, when they get their award, get inducted, they'll either make peace and we go, okay guys, we're gonna play the induction show, put our shit aside. But oftentimes, I think it was Axl Rose and I could be way off base with this, but it was a very popular rock band. The front man sent a letter in, and he was like, I am not accepting this award. I am not playing with those guys.
I think you're right.
Nobody is allowed to accept this award on my behalf. Do not believe anybody who says they're coming to accept this award for Axl Rose. It is not true. I do like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was.
I think that was
Rose.
him. That's hilarious.
Oh, but Blondie. I think Blondie had, when it was time for Blondie to play, she would not play with the band.
Really? Debbie Harry's that mad at the rest of Blondie?
Something like that. I don't know. It could have been another band.
I had no idea.
I think it was Fleetwood Mac you're referring to.
Oh God.
Oh, could have been.
They
hate each
were
other.
such a toxic mix of people. Amazing music. Like what actually came of that toxicity was so phenomenal, but personal life wise, just a goddamn train wreck.
Sometimes it's okay to stick your dick in crazy. You know what I'm saying? The toxicity.
That's done nothing but bad things for my life.
I do it for the dopamine.
Killer. All right. And with that, I think we're going to end it.
Okay.
Don't beat yourself to a fault.
Play the game. Sometimes you got to play the game. Sometimes you got to keep your eye on the prize and realize that swallowing pride for a moment can further what your overall goals are, as opposed to just constantly being entrenched in exactly what you want to do and say.
You know, if you're in sales, you know, maybe be a little phony. If you're a comic, don't be afraid to network. If you're Chinese, take an American name. Play the game, man. Play the fucking game. Oh yeah, it's not easy. It's not easier for everybody if we could just call you Ben. Yeah.
I'll be honest. There are times where I call to order some Chinese food, and I'm like, is there anybody else I can give my credit card information to?
There's a reason you're working at
else?
the Chinese restaurant. Who do you think the CEO wants working for their company? Ben, or the guy whose name he can't fucking pronounce?
I just need somebody that can read those card numbers back to me when we're done. I don't care what their name actually is. Just anybody that speaks English a little bit better, please.
Brian, the bigotry, man.
Just being pragmatic.
The absolute. What's wrong with being a little pragmatic? Hey, if some kid's got to die because we want to keep our guns, that's pragmatic. Kids are gonna die. That's life. That's life in America.
You know, I'm glad you read between the lines of what I was saying, because you just read my mind right now.
And that is the Floss.
Go Browns.
Cut.
He's got to do plugs again.
I gotta do plugs again.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Plug your podcast.
10 Cent Beer Life. That is what I'd like to plug, because I have no idea what I'm doing when this comes out.
That is the Floss. If you liked part 2 of this feature episode and you want some bonus content, such as raw footage or bonus episodes, you can subscribe to the show's Patreon at patreon.com/theflosspod. Every episode of The Floss is recorded at Golden Ox Studio in Cleveland, Ohio. If you live in Cleveland and you need to say something into a microphone for any reason at all, do it at Golden Ox Studio. Jeremy's awesome. He cares a lot about Cleveland, and he'll give a huge shit about whatever you're making. I'm Gabe Gary, and thank you very much.